Hi, I'm Fiona Quinlan, a postgraduate student in carbon management at the University of Edinburgh. Welcome to Windsor in southeast England, my home for the past 2 years. In this video, I'm going to explore the projected climate change impacts of Windsor out to 2050 and consider some of the key vulnerabilities it will face.
Windsor is a small town of 32,000 people, located 21 miles west of central London, in an area known as the Thames Valley. It is most famous as the location of Windsor Castle, the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world, and the weekend home of the Queen. Its history begins in the year 1066, when William the Conqueror invaded England from Normandy and built the first castle at Windsor. Over the centuries, the castle grew, as did the town around it. Today, Windsor's royal connections make it a popular tourist destination, with an estimated 630,000 visitors in 2016, contributing £571 million to the local economy. It is served by 2 train routes and is a short distance from both the M25 and M4 motorways, making commuting to both London and Reading popular. Much of the property in central Windsor dates from the 18th and 19th centuries, while further out of town there are more modern houses and apartments. There are also a range of generally small office buildings. Windsor generally enjoys a warmer and drier climate than the UK average. It is less influenced by depressions and wind than other parts of the UK due to its inland location. The average annual temperature falls between a minimum of 7.5 and a maximum of 15.2 degrees centigrade. July is the warmest month, with an average maximum daily temperature of 23.5 degrees, and January is the coldest month, averaging a daily maximum of 8.1 degrees. Annual rainfall averages 601.7 millimetres, which is relatively low compared to many parts of the UK. July is the driest month, with an average of 44.5 millimetres of rainfall, and October is the wettest month, with an average of 68.5 millimetres of rainfall. Precipitation is generally well distributed across the year. Due to its location beside the River Thames, large areas of Windsor have historically flooded, with significant flooding recorded 10 times in the last 100 years. There was a notable flood in 1947, where large sections of the town were left inundated, including my road, according to this map. More recently, substantial floods have occurred in 1993, 2002, 2007 and 2014. Significant investment has been made to reduce flood risk in the area. The Jubilee River, built in 2002, reduces flood risk for over 3,000 properties by diverting water through a 7-mile channel parallel to the Thames. Despite this, around a quarter of all properties in the borough are considered to be at medium to high risk of flooding. Heat waves have also been known to occur, including notable hot spells in 1976, 2003, 2006 and 2018. 2018's summer was the joint hottest on record for the UK, with an average temperature of 17.2 degrees. This prolonged hot weather led to concern over water shortages and a possible hosepipe ban, although you might not have guessed this from the Queen's lawn. The Ipcc's 5th assessment report summarises climate projections for Europe as a whole over the coming decades. Hotter, drier summers are expected, alongside warmer, wetter winters. At a national level, the UK CP09 provides detailed, probabilistic projections at a 25-kilometre grid-square resolution over the next century. The projections are also aggregated at a regional and river basin level. Outcomes are provided for low, medium and high emission scenarios given at 10, 50 and 90% likelihood levels in order to allow users to understand the full range of possible outcomes. For southeast England under the medium emissions scenario, the following central projections are made for 2050s. An increase in mean winter temperatures of 2.2 degrees, an increase in mean summer temperatures of 2.8 degrees, and an increase in summer daily maximum temperatures of 3.7 degrees. For rainfall, a 16% increase is expected in winter, and a 19% decrease is expected in summer. At a river basin level, peak river flows for the Thames are projected to increase by 15%. To begin to plan for these impacts, it is important to consider Windsor's vulnerabilities on a local scale across different sectors, including the natural environment, infrastructure, people and businesses. Changing climate patterns could significantly impact the natural environment. Agricultural yields may benefit from a longer growing season, However, drier summers may lead to irrigation challenges, and surface flooding could also cause impacts on crops. There are many green spaces of cultural and recreational value, including the Windsor Great Park. It dates from the mid-13th century and is home to many ancient oak trees. Reduced summer rainfall and increased frequency of heat extremes could have adverse impacts on both the natural habitat and recreational value at the park. A variety of infrastructure challenges may arise from warmer summers and wetter winters. Properties already at risk of flooding in Windsor may experience this more frequently and severely due to expected increases in river flows. More intense rainfall could also bring increased risks of surface water flooding or drainage failures. This could have significant impacts on local infrastructure. For example, the flooding in 2014 caused the train line to London Waterloo to be closed for 4 days. While milder winters will mean reduced damage to roads and structures due to ice, summer temperature extremes will bring new risks such as heat damage to roads. Hotter summers may also impact water availability. As groundwater sources may not be sufficiently replenished, water stress is possible when coupled with expected population growth. Turning to the impacts on people and property, the picture for Windsor is likely to be mixed. Milder winters are likely to reduce deaths related to cold weather. However, higher summer temperatures may bring increased risks for health and well-being. With maximum temperatures in summer expected to increase by as much as 6.6 degrees under a high emission scenario. The 2003 heatwave caused 2,000 extra deaths from heat in England and Wales, predominantly in southeast England. Research also suggests that for every 1 degree of summer temperature increase, the chances of cardiorespiratory deaths can increase by up to 70%. Given that Windsor has a higher than average elderly population, and this is expected to grow, vulnerability to heat extremes may rise. High summer temperatures are also likely to impact on the well-being of local residents. Public transport may become unpleasant, or should I say more unpleasant for commuters, with uncomfortable temperatures and potential disruptions due to infrastructure damage. Given few properties are currently air-conditioned, investment will be required to better cope with heat extremes. Furthermore, more frequent flooding will have economic and social consequences for local communities, with significant disruption and loss of property. Impacts for local businesses are likely to vary. Warmer summers could increase the tourist season for Windsor. However, an increase in surface flooding caused by intense rainfall events could impact the viability of some attractions. Though perhaps not this one. A quarter of commercial properties in the borough are already at risk of flooding and may see increased severity and frequency of impacts, causing disruption to their business operations. Conversely, summer water scarcity could also create challenges if resources have to be rationed. Additionally, increases in both summer and winter weather extremes could impact employee productivity and well-being due to transport disruption and the physical impacts of heat exposure for employees in summer. This reduced productivity will have a knock-on impact on business performance. A key transboundary impact for Windsor will be shifting patterns of tourism in Europe as a result of climate change. The Ipcc predicts that by the 2050s, tourist activity in Northern Europe is likely to increase due to a shift away from Southern Europe, which will be exposed to more extreme heat and droughts. While this may bring local economic benefits, it will also put further strain on stretched resources for Windsor, and so must be carefully managed. Additionally, permanent migration to the region, caused by people being displaced from countries facing the greatest climate pressures, may create additional tension, as well as social and political issues. Finally, flood risk will be an important consideration for all areas along the Thames. Protecting areas of high cultural and economic value in central London is likely to be a top priority for policymakers, and it's possible that this may have adverse impacts on flood risk for upstream areas such as Windsor. So what will this all mean for Windsor? Overall, adaptive capacity to climate change is likely to be relatively high, due to high average incomes. Additionally, local people are used to coping with the aftermath of flooding and occasional heat extremes in summer, so have some existing resilience. However, this may be stretched as these events become more frequent. Growth in tourism is likely to bring modest benefits to the local economy, but will need to be closely managed alongside other issues such as water scarcity and health in hot weather extremes. And as for the castle whose foundation the town stands around, I imagine it will likely weather things out just fine.